Hi folks, it's John Neisman from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share a safety tip with you, or actually several. We kind of take it for granted when we're working in our workshop or doing body work or even around the house in your home workshop. A lot of guys and gals will use your basic safety glasses or safety goggles sometimes, but not necessarily all the time. I find with auto restoration, majority of the time you do require to protect your body and more than just your eyes. So I just want to touch base on a few things that I found important over the years. One is goggles are really handy, but most times, as you know, they fog up. So you have them on and they start to steam, it gets hot under the brim, and chances are you're going to take them off and probably not use anything at all. So if you're doing grinding or drilling or things of that nature, obviously you want to be able to protect your eyes. So the goggles don't necessarily work very well in most cases. They have these other goggles, which they call machinist goggles or welding type goggles. These are quite a bit better. They're very flexible. They have a foam ring around both eyes that seal around your face, so it doesn't allow, if you're grinding, any debris to pop up in, and obviously adjustable. They work quite well. However, a lot of times they will fog up too. What I found to be the best in terms of safety glasses is your basic safety glasses with the protection on the sides. They work very, very well, and I use them quite frequently. Something I just started to do recently, I used to have the excuse of I'd have my safety glasses on, I'd set it down to work on something, I would have to go back to do something that should be checking my eyes, but because I've got them too far away or I forgot where I set them down, oh, it's only going to take me a second, I'll go ahead and do the task, where this is really handy, dollar store. So you can have your safety glasses on, you're working away, doing whatever you need to do. If you need a closer look or if they're in your way, just drop them down. When you're set and ready to go again, they're nice and handy. So I find these to be very, very handy. Another thing is a type of hat, especially if you're doing grinding or welding, because a lot of times you get a lot of debris coming up by your forehead or especially in your hair. A lot of times we're working under a car or inside a wheel well, and these work very, very well. Once again, I think they're 89 to 99 cents for the basic ones. It really keeps the debris and stuff out of your hair, and the grinding fleck stays away. They also have this similar idea, but it's fire retardant, and it's specifically for welding. So they're quite handy also. One of the biggest things that I think that people overlook is hearing protection. I feel it's very, very important. A lot of people, I don't think, take care of their ears well enough, and it's amazing the level of noise that you experience in a shop, whether it's woodworking, it's welding, grinding, anything that you're doing. And when you're done, for example, grinding, and your ears are ringing, that's your body telling you you really need to protect your ears. Now, there's several ways to go. These foam flexible throwaway type guys work very, very well. I don't use these very often because I find they don't seal my ear quite as well as a couple of the other earplugs that are out there, but these are very, very handy for short-term use. The headphone style, they're very inexpensive, they work very, very well, and they're nice and quick and easy because once again, you just pop it on while you're working. You don't have to have them on all the time. These are handy for if you have a welding mask and you're doing a lot of welding, then you can have them on. It's quite simple and easy. These are my favorite. I wear them as much as I can, so if I'm not doing any welding, they're like a $4.99 to $8.99 kind of set of headphones. They're fully adjustable. They work extremely well. It keeps things the quietest of all. So I would recommend to really focus or concentrate on keeping care of your ears for sure in terms of hearing. The other thing is gloves. Work gloves. For several years I never used them. I didn't feel they were necessary. But in the last, I'd say 2 years, I've really made an effort to make sure I'm wearing as much as possible, wear safety gloves, because a lot of times you get when you're drilling and you get a little bit of steel coming off the drill bit and they get jammed in your finger. Any sheet metal work that you're doing, when edges are sharp, it is incredible how much better your hands are and less risk of injury by wearing your standard work glove. And there's different makes out there, different manufacturers. Like there's the Machinist brand, which is heat resistant. So if you're doing a lot of fabrication or welding or grinding and the piece of metal is hot, when you go to grab the piece of metal, these have an insulator in them which will help from burning. So they're very, very handy also. And the last thing I wanted to touch on in terms of shop safety is some type of dust masks or fume masks. And it's another thing that I think a lot of people neglect or don't really do enough or pay attention to. You've got the little cheapy throwaway guys. They don't really work, but at least they're better than nothing. Typically, they're a very thin paper. They're slightly adjustable in the front. I typically will use 2 of them if I'm doing some light sanding or things of that nature. I'll double them up, and then they're obviously just a disposable throwaway. The drawback to these, if you're wearing this and safety glasses, there's nowhere for the air to go but up above, and it will fog up any glasses that you have, any type of safety glasses, even the open style. So what I really like are these. Several different companies make them, and they have the vent in the front, and it has a valve, and majority of your exhaling goes through this valve as opposed to allowing the air to come up through your nose and up into your eye area. So these are what I'm using all the time now, and they're very, very handy. So I wear these with the safety glasses. I don't get my safety glasses fogging up, so there's no excuse for not wearing a dust mask nowadays. And then you obviously have the better masks out there now that that have the replaceable filters in them. Very nice rubber seal around here. This is more for if there's heavy sanding or heavy grinding and even paint fumes. And you can see by the labels of the different ratings for the filters. So sorry to be so long-winded, but I think they're important safety tips. A lot of it we take for granted. Hearing protection for sure, and eye protection, because I think it's very, very important, because there's a lot of times where if my safety glasses are set to one side, I convince myself I'm just going to do this quick little touch-up and I'll be okay, but that's when something can go wrong. So that's my long-winded tip of the day. I'm John Eisman from LastChanceAutoRestore.com.